Donald Trump and his administration are now arresting high school children. That's right. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse here in the United States, just when you thought you couldn't see a worse headline than things that have already come before, we now have this. An 18-year-old Massachusetts high school student was detained by ICE, district officials said, and his high school had his graduation scheduled for Sunday, and ICE picked him up just recently. An 18-year-old Massachusetts high school student was detained by federal immigration agents this weekend, school officials confirmed. The Milford High School student was detained by ICE agents somewhere off campus, officials wrote in a statement. They did not immediately confirm the student's name or where the incident occurred. However, friends and family confirmed that the student is Marcelo Gomez, who was traveling to volleyball practice Saturday morning when he was detained. Look, he's being a kid, traveling to volleyball practice, going to play the sport that he likes to play, and he's detained by ICE, just picked up, and very little details are given out by federal authorities. Insane. Iago Sampio, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, says he was in the car with Gomez when agents approached. Quote, "If I were a year older, I would have been in the back of the car with my friend." He witnessed this. Gomez's family says he immigrated to the United States from Brazil at 5 years old and settled in Milford, Massachusetts, where he has lived. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey responded to the detainment, demanding to know more information about why he was arrested and his location. She wrote, quote, "I'm disturbed and outraged by reports that a Milford High School student was arrested by ICE on his way to volleyball practice yesterday. Yet again, local officials and law enforcement have been left in the dark with no heads up and no answers to their questions. I'm demanding that ICE provide immediate information about why he was arrested, where he is, and how his due process is being protected. My heart goes out to the Milford community on what was supposed to be a celebratory graduation day. The Trump administration continues to create fear in our communities, and it's making us all less safe." So, an incredibly powerful statement from the governor of Massachusetts. But this aspect of the story, I think, is just so incredibly heartbreaking. This is a young guy, 18 years old, a high school student who came here when he was 5 years old, has no knowledge of coming to the United States. Obviously, he didn't choose to come to the United States. He was brought here as a young guy. And normally, policies and programs like DACA, for example, like Obama and President Biden expanded, would protect somebody like this, a kid who came here with no recollection of the home country of which they originated from. And now, people like that, people who we've protected in the United States, are being detained on their way to volleyball practice. A high school student. What is the high school student doing wrong? What is he doing wrong? He's going to school, going to graduate high school, going to go to college or work a job or go to trade school or something like that, and he's being detained by ICE? It's disgraceful. Milford School Superintendent Kevin McIntyre said the district has no role in immigration enforcement operations and that the district supports immigrant families in the same way as others. Gomez's girlfriend told WCVB that she could not believe her boyfriend is currently in ICE detention. Quote, "He told me he had chains around his ankles. He had chains around his wrists. He's in a cell with 30 other men. He's the only 18-year-old there. He's the youngest there. He is not a criminal. He's a member of this community and has never done anything wrong." And you can see both of them right there. That man on the right is a man who is now sitting in a cell with chains on his ankles with 30 other men. He's 18 years old, picked up, going to volleyball practice. I like, it's just so heartbreaking. Massachusetts Rep. Jake Auchincloss was present at a Sunday afternoon rally and expressed disbelief at his detainment. "I don't see how a kid en route to volleyball who is an honors student, a musician in the high school band, that kid is not a threat to law and order." And that's exactly the point, right? The Democrats have always said that for people who are here and are committing crimes, they're not following laws, they are hurting their communities. It makes perfect sense to detain them, arrest them, try them, or deport them, whatever route you want to take. Perfectly reasonable. We're on board. But for somebody like Mr. Gomez over here, high school student, honor student, musician, athlete, graduate, hopefully, there's no threat. There's no threat to the community. He's giving back to his community. He's becoming educated. He's performing in arts and things like that. He's playing sports. That's the kind of person that we want here in the United States, especially given the external factors as well, such as, him coming here when he was 5 years old. And this is not the only example we have of the Trump administration completely dropping the ball and doing something awful when it comes to immigration enforcement. We just got this story the other day that the Trump administration admitted in court that they wrongly deported a man. According to the New York Times, a federal appeals panel ordered officials not to deport a 31-year-old to El Salvador. Minutes later, it happened anyway. They did it anyway. It's exactly right. The Trump administration deported a 31-year-old Salvadoran man minutes after a federal appeals court barred his removal while his case proceeded. In its filing, the government denied that it had violated the order from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in New York, instead blaming, quote, a confluence of administrative errors. The filing argues that because the process of deporting the man had already started before the court issued its formal order, that meant the order had not been violated. And this happened at 9:52, and then at 10:20 he was deported. The plane took off. So 28 minutes later, after being ordered not to deport the man, the federal government, the Trump administration, did that. And of course, they admitted in court that they did it, and they blamed a confluence of administrative errors. They're saying, yeah, we did it. It was for errors like this. They said that it was scheduling errors, missed emails. Missed emails, and a man's due process has been violated? Are you serious? That's what the Trump administration could come up with? And this they're providing an explanation for. When it comes to the case of Marcelo Gomez, they have given no answer. No, they have not spoken as to why this happened. Not spoken. And for these two individuals, obviously, Marcelo Gomez originated from Brazil. This man from that was deported by the government obviously is not an American citizen. He was going through deportation proceedings in the government through courts and appealing that process. But it doesn't stop there. We know that the Trump administration has been deporting American citizens as well. We just learned recently that a 2-year-old American citizen was deported to a country where she lacks legal status. So think about that for a second. She's an American citizen. She has legal status here in the United States, and the Trump administration decided to deport her to a country where she doesn't have legal status, where her safety, her well-being are all up in the air. It's all in question. We have no guarantee that she will be able to stay there and reside in that country when she's an American citizen and has legal status here in the United States. And we continue to get stories like this. A toddler born in Florida was deported to Brazil with her undocumented parents despite lacking legal status there and holding a tourist visa set to expire soon. The Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary told Newsweek on Friday, the media and Democrat politicians are force-feeding the public false information that U.S. citizen children are being deported that is false and irresponsible. Except we know that this toddler, a toddler born in Florida, was deported. So this is the Trump administration. We're getting headlines like this, where 2-year-old American citizens are being deported. We're getting headlines like this, ignoring court orders. And of course, we're getting headlines like the one we see with Marcelo Gomez, an 18-year-old high school student being detained, picked up on his way to volleyball practice. They are treating good folks who are giving back to their communities as criminals, as bad people who have violated the law in the most egregious way. And what's the crime that Marcelo Gomez committed? He came here when he was 5 and he's going to volleyball practice as a graduate? It's terrible. So look, I just had to bring this story to you. I think it's so insane what the Trump administration is doing. And it's just heartbreaking, on a human level, regardless of politics, whether you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, it's just heartbreaking on a human level. So I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. I really, really appreciate it. Drop a like on the video as well. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.